Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. So I know a lot of you guys have been hoarding these free games that have been offered, but ultimately the idea should be with video games that are in your Steam library that, yes, in fact, you should be playing them at some point. And Tomb Raider was just free recently, and I think this is one of those games that you should absolutely play and should be at the top of your priority list in games from your backlog that you should play. I know you've probably got a billion games in your backlog, but Tomb Raider is a game that it's not a super lengthy game. You can probably complete it in one evening. That's not hyperbole. I think you can finish it in around 6 to 7 hours. If you do rush through it, if you want to do absolutely everything, maybe that'll make the series a little bit longer. I should say the game a little bit longer. But it's an experience that you guys should definitely have. So Tomb Raider came out all the way back in 2013, and some of you guys might be of the mindset, Mush, who hasn't played Tomb Raider at this point? And maybe if you're a little older, I can understand, but at the same time, you guys have to understand, because I've literally seen this comment, somebody said everybody's played Tomb Raider. I wouldn't say that that's necessarily true. Think about it like this. If you were 15 years old in 2013, and you're watching my videos now, that means you're 22, and back when you're 15, you're probably not playing every game that's coming out, and you probably missed Tomb Raider. I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of people in the comment section that, yeah, they've never played Tomb Raider, and it's a game that they absolutely should because it's a really good game. So the comparison that's often made to Tomb Raider is to the Uncharted game. Some people will even see Tomb Raider as a direct ripoff. I don't really know how you could say something like that, given that Tomb Raider did not originate with the 2013 entry. Tomb Raider had obviously been around for a very long time, going back to the PlayStation 1 days. And those games were pretty good, but the series was in dire need of something different by 2011, 2012, and Square Enix, Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, they all got together, and that's how Tomb Raider 2013 originated, with a new Lara Croft, a brand new origin story for her, and a very good story at that. You know, I think Uncharted is very strong in its narrative telling, and I thought if Tomb Raider, if that comparison was just naturally going to be made, then Tomb Raider also had to be pretty good in its storytelling, and I'm not going to say that Tomb Raider is the most evocative and narrative-driven experience that I've ever had in my life. However, I do think the story is engaging enough where it does supplement and complement the overall elements of the game that are very, very strong. So the story gets a thumbs up from me, but that is definitely not the standout of Tomb Raider. Rather, the standout is pretty much every other element. If we want to start at a fundamental level and you look at these visuals, yes, this game came out back in 2013, so the visuals aren't as accentuated as they were back then, but even still to this day, man, going back and playing this game, and you guys are seeing the early portion of the game, this is a gorgeous game to look at, and I remember back in 2013, this was one of those games that a lot of people look to really test their PC. If they max it out, how was it going to run? How was it going to run if they had the hairworks turned on, which was brutalizing to the frame rates? I just remember everybody was like, what the hell is this hairworks thing? And then immediately, Tomb Raider was one of those games, alright, I don't really give a crap about Lara Croft's hair that much, where I want to lose 15 to 20 frame rates just so her hair has some nicer physics. I'm good on that. Let me turn that off. Obviously, now in 2020, a lot of you guys can probably get away with turning on all of the features of Tomb Raider, especially if you have like a 1080 or you have even a more recent GPU. I was playing with a 1080 and the game was playing really, really well. But yeah, at the highest settings, the game still looks really good, and at 1440p, 60 frames per second, the game was playing really well as well. So that's from a visual side of things, but the other gameplay elements are really good. Now, you guys aren't seeing much combat here because this is the early portion of the game, and I want to avoid all the spoilers I can. I don't even want to give you guys like regional spoilers in terms of the locale or whatever, but this is a game that I've completed multiple times, probably 3 to 5 times at this point. I feel like I go back to the Tomb Raider games right before the release of the new one, so I beat Tomb Raider when it came out in 2013, then I beat it ahead of Rise of the Tomb Raider, and then I think I beat both of them ahead of SOTR, and I beat it again kind of recently as well, just because it's a game, again, it's a 6 to 7 hour experience that's kind of like a high-octane action movie, and from that standpoint, it is a very enjoyable game. Also, as I mentioned, the gameplay is really strong. That's without a doubt the strongest element of Tomb Raider, and it's very much Uncharted-esque. I know, I didn't want to make the Uncharted comparisons, but here I am making the Uncharted comparisons. But when you have an action game like this, stylized in this kind of way, the biggest imperative, I think, should be to make the game well-paced. That means you can't just do 7 hours of straight action. I mean, you can, and some people might enjoy that, but for the most part, the majority of games, you're not going to get the best experience possible by just pumping out 7 7 hours of straight action. Rather, you need some action, then you need some breather, and then you need some exploration elements, then you need some puzzles, and you need all of that to be fleshed out very, very well. And I think Tomb Raider did that part of its gameplay better than a lot of other games. I think Uncharted does that really well, so that's kind of a testament to Uncharted's quality, but Tomb Raider also implements that as well. And a lot of single-player games, I feel like, have the issue of being not a well-paced game. So it's a lot of action, it's too slow at times. Tomb Raider strikes that perfect balance where it keeps the player engaged, meaning you're not going to want to drop the game at any point. The game's not going to get boring at any point. They're always offering you a different style of gameplay, even though it's a very, very linear experience, even more so than ROTR and definitely Shadow of the Tomb Raider. This Tomb Raider game very much is a linear experience. There's not a ton of exploration. The little bit that you do have is a nice stray from the beaten path, but it's not an open world game by any stretch of the imagination. It's more linear than anything. But given it was 2013, the open world craze wasn't in full effect, and you'll see it with the more recent Tomb Raider titles in ROTR and SOTR. They have opened up the games quite a bit, but the gameplay is really strong, and it does the linear style of gameplay really well. You could even make an argument that the openness of the newer Tomb Raider games may have been a little bit of a detriment. I really liked it, but that's something for you to decide. Again, the game is very easy to run at this point if you have a relatively modern PC. Even if you have an older PC, if you bought a pre-built in like 2014, 2015, it still might be able to run this game. Minimum dual-core CPU, AMD Athlon 64X2 2.1 GHz, Intel Core 2 Duo at 1.86 GHz, 1 GB minimum of RAM, 2 GB on Vista. That's crazy. You could run Tomb Raider with a gig of RAM, but I guess it was a 2013 game, so it should be expected. An NVIDIA 8600 GT or an AMD Radeon HD 2600 XT. These are some throwback hardware specifications. Recommended quad-core CPU, AMD Phenom 2 X4 955, Intel Core i5 750, 4 GB of recommended RAM, so hey, there you go with that. Radeon HD 5870, NVIDIA GTX 480, 12 GB of storage space to download this. Those GPUs are a little bit more in my wheelhouse, but those are still very, very old. Tomb Raider got an 86 on Metacritic. I kind of think that's a little underrated. Might have be, personally speaking, I do think it's at the quality level of Uncharted 1. Maybe Uncharted 2 is a better game. Uncharted 2 was really, really good. Tomb Raider's probably not at that level, but it's at a high level in its own right, and if you're a fan of action-adventure games, if you want something with a pretty good story, a shorter experience, but it's very high-octane the whole way through, and it does, you know, diversify the experience enough where you've got your puzzles, you've got a little bit of exploration, and all of that complements each other really, really well and creates a pretty engaging experience all around. So Tomb Raider is a game that I feel like the majority of you guys are aware about. Maybe it's not at the top of your priority list, but if you have it in your Steam library, if you got it as a freebie a week ago and whenever Square Enix was offering it, definitely play it. It's a good one, and I don't think you guys are going to be disappointed. So that's going to conclude this video. If you guys enjoyed, let me know in the comment section down below. I want to do more series taking a look at older games, games you guys might have in your backlog, and reasons to play these games, because ultimately, yes, you guys are developing a significant backlog, but the idea should be to one day play these games, and Tomb Raider is a game you should absolutely play. That's going to conclude this video. If you guys have a request for a future video, you can leave that in the comment section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.